Hello YouTubers, Scott here. Another quick update. Hope I'm not boring you guys with too many videos. I've figured out a solution. I was actually YouTubing the NS-80 and looking at other reviews and everything and realized that there was a Reef octopus, I believe it was something -50, and the tube that carries the water, the overfill water out, they came with a sponge that went around that tube to keep the air bubbles from in the tank. As you guys know from my previous video, I was having a flood of bubbles, and in all the videos I saw on YouTube also said that bubbles were still escaping even after months of use. And everything being such a tight-knit network in my tank, being all compact, those bubbles didn't have much to travel to get into the main tank, as if it was a 20 long or something else where they usually escape before they get to the return pump. In this case, they're one chamber away, separated by inches. So, needless to say, I have 0 bubbles in my main tank now because I followed kind of the scheme of what they had on the other Reef Octopus Nano. I think it's the newest version with the sponge around it. And I'll give you guys a close-up of what I did. And you can see everything is doing good still. Moving up. You can see I zip-tied my mangroves in the front now. It's kind of cool. The clown likes swimming in and out of the roots down there. Everything is coming back. I'm so happy my hammer coral's coming back. Finally put it in a spot it's been very happy. Alright, now onto the NS-80. So you can see this thing is a plethora of bubbles. I mean, the whole cup is just filled. I have the overflow for the cup feeding back into the filter here. I change this filter out once every 3 days. And as you can see, those bubbles carrying any proteins drop right on top. I'm putting another pad on top of that pad to actually catch the proteins in the pad before water can filter it through the pads back into the tank. I've seen some guys connect this to an actual separate container to drop all the water, but you know, a 16-ounce mason jar is already completely filled to the top with this overflow. I mean, that's just removing straight salt water from the tank. So you'd have to constantly keep making salt water and actually topping off your tank with salt water, not just the fresh water that I'm already topping off every day. So I want to run it somehow at least back into the pad and just change the top pad, you know, when I start seeing it get real dark. But it's skimming already. You can see there's crud already collecting on the top of that, on the inside. Kind of give you a top half, show you how it's coming up every bubble, so just how it's supposed to. I don't know why my tank is so bubbly though, where it fills the cup. Maybe it's just a part of the process of being broken in. Heck, so I took some of my double ply filter, you know, sheet, floss, whatever you call it, and I wrapped it around the tube for the overfill water coming out. And then I left it, there's about a 2-inch gap of just the sponge down there that the air is getting trapped in and escaping through the top of the sponge. And then I just kind of plugged the control valve, which you see right here, in too as well. So if the water comes up for any reason, it'll still overflow this and still go through the filter pad, keeping any bubbles from traveling into the last chamber here. So just I had some twist ties. I don't have any small zip ties. I have to go to the hardware store and actually get some small zip ties because I want to zip tie that thing onto the tube, just making sure it doesn't come loose or anything. But the zip ties will work right now, but zip ties are cheap metal inside of plastic, so I don't want the metal to leach into the water. So I'm going to get some zip ties right away tomorrow and switch all that out. But it works perfectly. I have everything dialed in. You can see there. It's a very neat setup. I think it cosmetically looks great, especially if you know it's doing its job. Let's get a close-up here of the tank. There we go. No bubbles. And I mean, this thing was flooding bubbles into it. My chalice is hanging out right there, doing really well. I love that chalice. Everything else is cranking. My rainbow acan right there. Mushroom, frog spawn. That thing is just growing out of control. It hasn't even split yet. That is one head. It's pretty crazy back there. I'm thinking about trying a BTA, you know, a rose tip bubble anemone. RTB, RTA, rose tip bubble anemone. You know what I'm talking about. I don't know though for this tank, especially if they can grow pretty big in just a year. So, well, happy YouTubing and happy reefing, aka Reef Addict. Taking care. Bye-bye.